Hi, I thought I'd do a video on the new GTech AirRam Mark II. I have the original one. I've always been really happy with it, and I bought my parents' one as a gift for Christmas and recommended it to several people. I have a Jack Russell that moats a lot, and so it's used several times a day. Also, I've got a son that makes a lot of mess, so I do get lots of use out of it. I find it's just easier than getting a big vacuum out all the time, just keep going over things during the day. The handle, there's a button, this button on the side, push it down, so if you want to store it maybe in an under cupboard stairs or somewhere out the way, it would take less room. But I have mine stored, it doesn't really matter about the height of the handle, but could be useful to some people. The start button is on the base of the new one and halfway down the handle on the old one. It takes a little bit getting used to. I've only had the new one a couple of days and I keep trying to turn it on halfway down the handle, but I must say it is very useful just being able to put your foot on and start it. So that's one difference. On the new one you have a battery that can lift on or off. You can actually charge it whilst it's on the vacuum or charge the battery separate. Because I stored mine in a little room, I've got a socket right near it, so it's not much advantage to me to have to take the battery off, but if you do want to store it in a cupboard and there's no electricity, then this would be easier for charging. Just push the button like a lever underneath and pull it up, and then the battery comes out and apparently just goes into the battery. You've got this sort of LED on the top. There's 4 lights that shows when it's fully charged. And slide back down and clicks in. On the old model, there it is, the mains like power is down at the bottom of the handle. Never been a problem for me because I say where I have it plugged in, I just plug the wire straight into the back of it. So it might be an advantage to some people about having the separate battery, and also I don't know how long the batteries probably last on these things, so maybe then you could just replace the battery if need to, but I've had that original one for a couple of years and never had a problem with it. They last for ages. I mean, I probably use mine 3 or 4 times a day and probably only charge it up once a week, so they're really good on the battery. My main vacuum only gets used once a week as well now. I like doing sort of skirtings and in the edges and things like that, but this one keeps on top of it. How you empty it is different. So the old style, you just lift this up. Lots of dirt. You can tell they work well. And the filters are in here, which just use a coin to unscrew this. You can bang the dust out of these grills, and then you've got like the sponge filters that you rinse under the tap and then leave till they're naturally air dry and then replace back in. I actually had spare filters so that I didn't have to wait like 24 hours or whatever it took to dry them, to then be able to reuse the vacuum, so it's handy to have some spare filters. But I did find on this old model, that was the only, not really a problem, but used to be a bit fiddly. I used to get my husband to fit them most of the time. So when you put the filters back in, you have to get them sort of slotted in under this grill very tightly, and make sure that they were in completely right, otherwise it didn't close this part properly. And I say it takes a bit of getting used to, but brilliant Hoover. And that just goes back in. The new one, this is still new to me. You lift it out with these two handles. It's difficult because I'm doing it with one hand. And then you just take over to the bin. To empty the new one, you just undo. There's a flap on the end of this container, and then you just slide this lever down and the dirt just exits. So it's not very easy for me to show you whilst I'm holding that and the camera. You don't actually have to touch the dirt. So if you've got two hands to do it, it's a real quick and easy job. The new one has this button here which releases the brush bar, and unlike the old model had like a elastic band, not elastic band, but like a rubber band, and that was quite difficult to get in the right position and make sure you got it at the right end when replacing the brush bar. This one doesn't seem to have a band, it's just that quick release button, and then the brush bar comes out for you to release anything jammed or get hair and things stuck to it after a while. So I'd say the brush bar is a very good improvement on that, because you do get things caught up now and again. And be careful with wires, electric cables around, like from lamps, etc., because it is very powerful, and before you notice it, suck the whole lead up and wound it all around the brush. So you do have to free that bar quite often. There's also a window in the bottom there, so you can probably see if there's anything jamming the vacuum quite easily. I have made a mess on my kitchen floor with my son's cereal on purpose for this demonstration. I'm going to go over it with the old model on one side and then the new model the other side, and we'll see if there's any difference to how they pick up. Will be quite noisy because they're not the quietest of vacuums, but they are very good. Now here's the original G-Ram. You just put your foot to tilt it, power button halfway down. So that's not coming back on itself, that was just one sweep over it. Now I'll try with the new model. Foot down on it again, they tilt in the same way, but this one starts the other side with your foot. Yeah, not a lot in it. I mean, on the old one there's some tiny bits left behind. The new one's got a lot cleaner path, but then nothing to really worry about. I think they're on a similar basis, and obviously that's only just sort of going with one swoop. If I go backwards and forwards a couple of times, that'll be cleaned up in no time. And that is large cereal. I mean, I don't normally have anything quite that big to pick up on the floor. There's plenty of dog hair and maybe the odd dog biscuits, but I don't think the dog biscuits are that big. And I think that's picked it up quite well, considering, you know, it's like one big mess. So I don't know if there's anything else really to show you. Say what I like about the new model. Oh, that's what we forgot. The new model has a light, which I suppose would be good if it was quite dark in the evening. See where you're going. I think it may be slightly quieter, but then that could be because the older one's older. Yeah. But say that could be because it's a new model and not had much use yet. You've seen on the old model I had like 4 bars at the bottom of the handle illuminated. That's sort of telling you how much power you have left. Whereas on the new one it shows on the battery. So that one's got 3 lights left. Obviously, I suppose once you're getting down to 1 light, it's time to charge, but if not, it would just, well, I don't know about the new one because I haven't let it get that low yet, but the old one starts to flash red just here when it needs charging, and then I just normally put it on charge and away it goes for another week. I think the new one is improved in lots of ways. I do find the bins a lot easier to empty, and it's nice to be able to see. You know, you can obviously see when it's sort of getting full up and what's picked up in there. So it does pick up something of kids' toys or a bit of Lego. You probably would see it in there. That could be an advantage. The handle going up and down, yeah. I don't know, maybe I have taken this away with me before, like when we've gone to stay in a caravan, so it would be handy to put the handle down then to put in the car. Or if you store it, as I say, in a under cupboard, like under the stairs, which hasn't got the height, then that would be useful. The filter is, I haven't actually opened it on this new one, but I've seen it on the advert. It's like a cone shape inside this tube that just comes out and you rinse under the tap. So I'm hoping that will be a lot easier than the filters in the old one. So that will definitely be an advantage. I like the lights. I think it looks nice and pretty. The battery separate, but I still like the old one. I think the old one's really good, but say there is a few nice improvements on the new one, and if you haven't got one, it's definitely worth buying. But if you got the old one, then those are the things to consider if you're thinking about upgrading to the new one. So I've got 30 days to try it, and I've had it for 2 days now, and I love it just as much as I've loved the old one, so I'm very pleased with it so far. Just wanted to show you the difference.